Okay, hello everybody, this is Jenny. Welcome to my channel, Things I Wish I Knew. Today what we'll be talking about is a couple factors before applying to schools. This could be related to undergrad, grad school, residency, all of that. You should always be looking at these factors before you make your decision where you're going. They're not in any specific orders. I just kind of plotted them down and you can have a look at them. So the first one that I have on my list is the location, meaning is a school in a city, is a school in a town, suburbs, anything like that. You have to know yourself. Where do you feel more comfortable being? Do you feel more comfortable being in a town? Or do you feel more comfortable being in the city? Are you a city person? Another thing with location is the weather. Do you want to go to school in the East Coast, West Coast, Midwest? I don't really know about all of the map, but anyways, snow, desert, tropical, humid. So you got to think about all that. Are you used to living in Minnesota? Maybe it's fine if you go to school in Minnesota, but if you're living in an island and you decide you're going to go to school in Minnesota, you have to consider that. You have to know where you're getting yourself into. Another thing, along with the location, comes the living costs, meaning housing, expenses such as food, that all has to deal with it. Well, for an example, you want to live in San Francisco. Well, what does that mean to live in San Francisco? You're paying for rent. What if you want to have your own apartment? How much is that? $3,000 a month if you want to have your own apartment. So feasibly, if you were to move to San Francisco as a student, you're probably not going to have your own apartment. You're probably going to be living with several people. I know one of my old roommates her twin sister used to live in San Francisco, and they used to have a 2-bedroom apartment. They shared it, I think, around 8 people. 3 live in 1 bedroom, 3 in another, and 2 in the living room. And that's how they were able to save a lot of money. But can you do that? Can you be able to be a little more flexible in that manner? And another thing with location is, how far from home do you want to go? Do you want to go somewhere where it's easily accessible to get home, maybe an hour drive, 2-hour drive? Do you want to commute from home? That's things you have to address, because if you go to a school that's really far from home where you have to fly, you have to know you're not going to be going home every weekend. It ends up being too expensive to fly home every weekend. So you might be able to go every quarter after a quarter system, or every 4 months in a semester system, but you're not going to be able to go home that often. Will you be okay with that? And that's something you have to think about. Another thing you need to think about school-wise is the size of the school. Is it a small school? Is it a large school? Are you comfortable being in a large school, or do you need the small school scale? I went to a smaller, it's not a small school, but compared to all the other ones in the UC, it's a very small school. And I thrived in that environment. I really liked having the small schools. I got to know a lot of people, everybody almost in my major that graduated with me. So that's really nice to know. If that's what you want, you have to kind of see that too. Also, inevitably, you always have to look at the price tag. How expensive is it to go to that school? What are they projecting as book prices? What are they projecting as tuition? And you have to know, is the tuition going to be going up every year, and by how much maybe? It's not that you will know for sure, but you'll kind of see the price of the school, and then you compare it to other schools too that you might like as well. And maybe it might be a little cheaper in another school and you'll be happy there too. So you got to think about that. With that, talking about money, I would recommend seeing your financial advisor in the school, talking to a financial advisor and seeing what their financial aid package is. Are they willing to give you more scholarships, more grants, and maybe any federal loans, or they can maybe direct you to right places where you can learn all about this. I would suggest, one thing I would really suggest highly is you go to the school and see it for yourself. And I would also suggest not only seeing the campus, but also speaking to the students. You'd be surprised how nice students are and how willing they are able to open up about their truth. So you want to ask students questions like, what do you like about this school? What don't you like about this school? And then you have to think about the things that they don't like about the school. Will that affect your decision in going to that school? Another thing you have to ask students is maybe how accessible are the professors or the teacher's assistants? Because this would be helpful for when you have questions or you want to get to know your professors for maybe later on having a relationship with them, working with them, or even getting a letter of recommendation from them. Another thing you have to know is the school culture. Are the students friendly? Are people cliquey? Or is there such thing as school spirit? Because I went to such a small school. We have, I think they're Division 3, and we don't have any like football or any of those kind of things. So there was not much of a school spirit in that sense. But if you want that, you have to look for a school that does have it. Another thing I would say is look for the resources that are available. Meaning, and this is something you can ask a student, are they able to get into all the classes they wanted in that semester or in that quarter? And how hard is it to get into those classes? Are certain classes just given once a year? And then how hard is it to get in there? Because what if there's a class you need for your major, and not that this is true, this is hypothetical, but class you need for your major, and they only accept 20 students and 500 students need it. That's not going to happen. So that's kind of the things you need to ask about. Also, another thing that would be really helpful is it easy to go to speak to your counselor? Like, are there enough resources to make it easy for you to go to an advisor? That would be really good, because you always want to see your advisor. I know for our school, and I don't know if it's for every school, but for our school, we had to mandatorily see our advisor, I think once a year or something. I remember having to go all the time, and if you don't go, they don't let you get into your classes or get into classes that you need to take. So it's a good thing though, because they make you stay on track. And the advisors are really helpful. They would get a list ready, maybe you should take this, this, and this. Maybe you should take it this time. So it was really nice. They helped you plan your whole 4 years so you can graduate on time. Okay, so another thing that I was thinking about was recreational things to do around. So do you want to go to an outdoorsy school where they have a lot of hiking and walking? Do you want to go to school near the beach where you can go to the beach every day? Do you want to go to school maybe in a city where they have a lot of museums? And another thing with that is, how easy is it to get around? Are you going to need a car? If you don't have a car, you won't have the resources to get a car. Is it okay to take public transportation around that area? You have to see if it's a dangerous area, how comfortable are you living in that area? But also, how easy is it to get places? Because what if you have an internship, you don't have a car, and you have to get somewhere? It's going to be very hard to Uber, and very expensive actually, to Uber from one place to another if that's the only means of getting around. So just things to think about. Not that I'm saying you shouldn't do it, but it's something that you need to think about before you decide you want to go to those places. Another thing you have to decide too, and not that you will know, at least in undergrad, you won't know. Some people don't know their major, and that's fine. But you have to see that there's a diverse amount of majors, because you want to have that ability to take the classes you want and then figure out from there, okay, this is the major I want. And then they have it. You don't want to go the other route, I'm taking all these classes. Oh, this is the major I want. And they don't have it. And so you want to see that there's a diverse amount of majors that you can succeed in. One thing is, I would also, if you have an idea of what you want to study, then look around and see, do they have this major? Do they have that major? Doesn't mean that you're going to do it, because I didn't know what I wanted to major in until when I had to tell them what my major was, which was in the second year of undergrad. So actually towards the end of the second year of undergrad. So that's what I'm saying. So if they have quite a diverse amount of courses and classes and a diverse amount of majors, then you'll definitely be able to get to the major you want to do. And then I'm sure all these schools do this, but something you would want to double check is Do they offer you the ability to be able to make your own major? That's a good option if they don't have it. Say they don't have it, but they'll let you, then that's good. But you have to ask that. So to end it all off is questions I would ask myself if I was applying. Will I feel comfortable living here? Do I see myself living here for the next foreseen future, maybe 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, depending on the school? Will I be happy in this environment? It's not only about going to school. It's your mental health has to be incorporated in this. Will this make me happy? Will I be confident? Will I be able to succeed in this environment because of my emotions? So you have to think about that stuff. Other than these small points that I have talked about, I would also suggest you make a list of things that you need to have while you go to school. Example for me, when I was going to residency, I needed, my most important thing was location. Because I knew I wanted to work in that location, I said, I want to go to the city where I want to work. So that was for me, Los Angeles. So that worked for me. But you have to think about, you make a point, your priority list. Make a priority list. What is the one thing you cannot budge on, and then lower it down to your flexibility? And then you go through the schools in that manner. Are they hitting my points? So that's it for today. But if you have any questions, any comments, make sure you comment below. If you want to keep hearing some of my content, subscribe, like, and thank you for listening, and hope to see you guys soon again. Bye.